Hey leaders, I'm Whitney Williams, leadership strategist and keynote speaker, helping emerging leaders accelerate their career on purpose. Welcome to Facts Over Fear. Hey leaders, we are back with another week of Facts Over Fear. Happy Thursday. And today we are going to go into the topic of the art of letting go. I personally say this often that there is an art in letting go. There's many people out here that don't recognize that letting go of things doesn't have to be terrible, and that there's an art in it. You know, there's an art in not being bitter about it. There's an art in knowing when to do it. And there's an art in knowing how to do it, right? And also that letting go of things isn't always negative, right? Sometimes it's just letting go of certain habits and things that don't serve you anymore, about who it is that you need to become in order to get where you're trying to go out here, right? So, from a leadership standpoint, I want to just touch on this and go over the art of letting go. Something that's super important to remember is that growth requires letting go. Sometimes the hardest part of leadership is not what you need to pick up, it's often what you need to put down. Who do you need to become in order to have the role that you want to have? Who is it that you need to become in order to get the amount of money that you want to get? You know, something that has always stuck with me is I've I'm big on personal development. I'm big on personal development. And I'm talking about years ago, over 10 years ago. I don't remember who said it, but I've heard it from multiple successful people. And what they would say is that it is not about making your first million. It was about who they needed to become in order to make the first million. So, what does that have to do with leadership? Because no, I'm not a millionaire. But one thing that's super important is to remember that you're trying to climb this corporate ladder. That's why you're here, right? And so if you're a new leader, especially if you're a new leader, but also if you're an aspiring leader, but also if you are a leader that has been a leader for 4+ years, and they are still trying to move up this ladder. We haven't gotten to the place that we want to be in corporate America. We haven't received the title and role that in our mind we want to, but we need to think forward like that. And so, in thinking forward like that, I want to be in C suite. That is a goal of mine in the future, is to make it the C suite. And I am on that trajectory, right? But who is it that I need to become in order to reach that goal? What are the things that I needed to let go of? What are the things that I needed to put down? And those are the important things that I want you to think about at this point. I want you to ask yourself this: who do you need to become for the role that you want? Maybe right now you're not a leader at all in a managerial term. You are an individual contributor, but you do want to be a leader of people. You do want to be in a leadership role, increase your salary, or increase your impact. What role is that? Maybe that's just the first step. It's just to become a people manager. Fantastic, right? Maybe you're already a leader and you're leading a team, and maybe your goal is to get to director, senior manager. Like I said, maybe your goal is to get to C suite. So it isn't going to be about where we are right now, it's where we're trying to go. And who do we need to become? It's funny because you hear on YouTube all of your morning routine, and you need to be at the gym or you're not going to be successful. Like, all of that is self-discipline. And I'll make another video about that. But what I'm trying to wake up in you right now is, how do you need to spend your time? Who are the people that you do need around you? Are there courses that you need to take? Are there skills you need to learn? Are there bad habits that just don't serve you if you're going to be serving others, right? I think that this is easily put in from a Christian standpoint, right? For a Christian, me as a Christian, people are supposed to see God in me, not by just what I'm saying, but how I move, how I walk, how I talk, right? Um, and in order to do that, there's certain things that I needed to put down. So no longer listening to certain music, right? I know that that's hard for some people. No longer going to the same concerts or um, being at clubs, things like that, right? You just won't see me there at this point, and you can call that maturity, but those are choices that I'm making. Another choice that I've made is the gym. So instead of listening to music in the gym, trap music in the gym, stuff that gets you real turned up, instead of doing that, I spend my time listening to personal development. So I'm either listening to a sermon, or I'm listening to a podcast, or I'm listening to an audiobook while I work out. And I know that that might sound boring, but that's how I choose to use my time wisely. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I got things to do, right? When I'm in the car, same. And I rarely listen to the radio. I usually have gospel music on, that's first and foremost, but also it will even leak into what my son, will put on and listen to as well. And so those are just some easy things of like, okay, I needed to take from here. And that wasn't necessarily a bad habit. I needed to take from here and I needed to put that down and pick up something else. Easy, right? Easy. So I needed to let go in order to use my time more wisely. So those are just little examples, right? But becoming who you want to be before you even have that title that you want is so important in visibility. Is so important in how you show up, how your mind is working, your mindset, your the way you walk, the way you talk, it can be seen on you. Right? Have you heard the saying, it's not in you, it's on you? Right? Either it's in you or it's not. Either it's in you or it's on you. And if it's in you, it's because this is the intentional way of putting it in you. Okay. So if I am spending my time at the gym doing that, I am intentionally feeding my mind, which I tell my son all the time, just how powerful his mind is, right? The most powerful thing on your body. So if that's something that can position me, that's such an easy thing to pick up, right? So when you're trying to have that title before you actually have the title, so many people focus on just that, but very few focus on becoming the person capable of holding the actual role. And so think about politicians. Politicians, they usually, right? But they usually are working towards this their entire life. Their whole life is built around becoming the president of the United States or senator. They're not in certain places, they're not being seen doing certain things. They are, there's like a blueprint to get there, right? Successful entrepreneurs, you know, them saying that one statement that stuck with me, which is, it isn't about when I made my first million. It's about who I needed to become in order to make my first million. Like, let that stick in your mind. Who is it that you need to become for that next title or the future title? Again, I am working towards C suite. And in order to get there, who is it that I need to become? And by the grace of God, honestly, even this past 6 months, I've really leveled up. I've really leveled up, and I believe that it's about the things that I had to put down, the people that I needed to separate from, the getting clear on the fact that going to every brunch or every networking event isn't intentional, right? You're just looking busy, not necessarily growing, not necessarily surrendering, right? So I want to next talk about letting go of bad habits. So you're a leader. You are leading from the front. There's just certain things that even as a big sister, right? Let me just go there. I am the oldest of four. I have three little sisters, and I have taken this role very, very seriously since I was, since as far as I can remember. I take it very seriously that I'm their big sister. You know, I want to be a good role model, and I have always wanted to be. I know that they're looking at me. And so still right now to this day, and we're all grown, right? I'm always going to be their big sister. I've always had to lead from the front. And I haven't always had to, but those are my decisions, right? And so I take it very serious. And so from leading from the front, imagine that you have a team. Imagine the team sees you out in the club or wherever they see you, right? And are you looking like a leader? Are you looking like a well respected human being, even on the internet? Are you practicing what you preach? Because I'm not just handing out responsibilities, right? I want to help these people grow. I want to help these people become whoever they want to become, what goals they want to accomplish. That's part of the goal of being a servant, intentional leader. And what if you got an opportunity to go speak to younger girls, younger people who are looking up to you, aspiring to be what you are one day? But when they come and they ask you something real, let's say, I know an example, smoking, smoking weed, right? That's something that I think that from a millennial standpoint, no one has, oh, it's just smoking weed, right? This is just what I do when I get off. But imagine a young girl coming up to you and asking you those questions, right? Like, I'm having such a hard time with this, struggling, and are you going to stand up here and you're going to tell this young girl, like, oh, just still do it? Or drinking, right? Not taking care of yourself, not taking, what advice are you able to give? How are you able to lead someone to where they need to go if you are not actually walking in that? I mean, this directly piggybacks from last week's imposter syndrome, right? Those doubts and fears don't just come from anywhere. They're fed by something. Either you're not showing up, also, that can be another one. We can't just blame other people, right? Are you actually showing up for yourself? Right? So again, who is it that you need to become in order to get the role you want? There's times that small decisions can shape exactly who we need to become. So, the example I gave earlier, just in the gym, instead of listening to music, turning on something that feeds your mind, right? Waking up early at 5 in the morning. Listen, I just got there. I just arrived, and it's not that easy. But that's one thing, right? But let's dig deeper into that. Can it just be a routine change? What are you intentionally planning your day? Are you writing to-do lists? I know they help me. Do they help you guys? If they do, start doing them. I think that this concept came from me because I would rebel against myself. I know that I'm someone who likes lists. I know that I'm someone that does good with an agenda, with like having a plan and being in control. There's certain things that would stop me from doing that, and it would mainly be myself. And it would just keep playing in my head, who is it that I need to become in order to make my first million, right? And whether I make the million or not, fantastic. But really, who is it that I need to become in order to get everything that God has for me? Who is it that I need to become in order to get the role of C suite? What do they do? Success leaves tracks. And so sometimes it's not even the habits, right? Sometimes it's the environment. Do you have friends who still want to live a certain way? Because everybody's not moving at the same pace. And respectfully, it's okay. But I can't do it. I love it for you, but I've outgrown that. I love it for you, but I have some things to accomplish. I love it for you that you want to go to brunch every single Saturday. But as for me, I have some goals in the gym. I have some goals to invest my money. But here we are, going to spend it every single weekend. For them, I'm not counting your pockets. You go ahead and be great. But as for me, I'm going to stay in the house, or I'm going to go work at a coffee shop. I tell my kids this, right? If you do what is easy now, life will be hard. If you do what's hard now, life will be easy. And so sometimes that's saying no to the people, the places, the things. What do you need to let go? And listen, nobody should be upset. No one should be mad about this. Even in the art of letting those things go, right? Why are you doing it? Easily you could say, well, I was doing it because I just need to let my hair down. I just need to have a good time. I'm just so stressed out. Okay. How does that lead to where you're trying to go? That's my next question. How? And is it? Is it? So spending money versus investing your money. Decisions. So you can go on every trip. You could be at every conference, every paid event that you can be at. Meanwhile, while it looks like maybe I'm turning down things that other people want to do, me and my husband own a duplex, two mobile homes, our home that we currently live in, right? We are making decisions for the future, right? Who do we need to become in order to have all the things that we want in the future? Doing so doesn't mean that I need to, I don't know, break up with my friends. There's an art in letting go, and it's doing things gracefully. It's before things get um, misunderstood, where they are taking this as taking it the wrong way rather than just knowing that, hey, I have some different priorities and goals right now. And maybe that will never be their priority and goals. That's okay as well. But I'm not even mad at you because you're not where I am and I am not where you are, respectfully. Right? Bowing out with grace is something that I think is so important. Communication, I love understanding. So I want to communicate. Hey, I'm not, I have some things that I need to accomplish. Maybe we can schedule that, right? Um, I just think that there's truly an art in letting go and putting things down that no longer serve you. It's so important to do that on this journey of becoming who you need to become in order to have everything that you want to have. I am living in answered prayers, and I think that this is, why, right? I truly do understand when it's time to put some things down and focus on other things. I also know when God is telling me, like, all right, girl, I done gave you enough grace. Look, it's time to be obedient. It's time to get it together. right? This doesn't serve you anymore. You need to put this down. I want it to just be said so clearly that bowing out with grace is in a nutshell is outgrowing spaces without disrespecting them, right? Handling things with care, because having a boundary isn't bad. Growth is not bad. Shame on me for changing. Shame on you for staying the same. But we may want different things. And I understand if you don't understand that, but respectfully, anyone who loves you should understand where you're heading. And not that they have to love it or like it, but they do have to respect it. Leading. We lead from the front. What do you need to put down in order for you to become who you want to become and who you need to become in order to get that role, girl? In order to get that salary, right? What things do you need to be more responsible with? Maybe it's your finances. And then you can get the bag, right? Maybe your it can't increase until you can take care of what you have right now. Leadership is not what you say. It's what your life reflects. And if I'm going to stand here and tell you guys this, it's because I've done it. It's because I live it, right? And there's just things that no longer served who I was becoming and who I wanted to be. And they were more so standing in my way, and they needed to go. And the art in that is that I tell my husband this all the time. I'm not married to anything else but him. That's it. So certain habits, immediately, I'm just like, oh, no more. I just can't. I can't. It doesn't serve me. It's not good for me. And I think that the last thing that we must learn to let go is control. I am a control freak, okay? My husband will tell you this, and he's so amazing. Shout out to him, okay? But yeah, I like control. And I'm pretty sure that most people who are leaders will or are good leaders also like control, right? But there's a part of that somewhere also that we have to let go of that outcome. We are just going to focus on the results. Okay. But something that I say all the time is the serenity prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That is tattooed down my spine. Why? Because it is so important to understand that there is so many factors that happen in our day-to-day life that we won't ever be able to control. Right? Even a project at work, like there's so many factors in that in which you can't control, even with your team. But what are the things that we can control? And those are the things that you have to have the courage to change. And so, in yourself, being a leader, right? Let's say that you run into some type of bump with your team. You can't change everyone. Everyone is not you. They're not going to think like you. They're not going to move like you, all those things, right? But what things can you change? Can you get them can you talk to them about courses that they can take to upskill them, right? For yourself, can you listen to, find some more information on how you adapt in this environment that you maybe haven't experienced before? When it comes to certain things that happen in a workplace that maybe you've never experienced, what are the things that you can change within yourself, or what things can you learn? What are the things you can control? Because you can't control everything, but in a certain result, not being married to how every single piece moves, because being a leader, you got to adapt sometimes. There's just such an art in understanding these things and moving so that life is not stressing you completely out, that you're not victim in your own story, and that also while you're at work, you're not only just leading from the front, but that you're keeping a level head because they're watching that. They're watching who comes with excuses about what they can't do versus what you can do. I am so solution oriented. I am so, again, not married to anything but my husband, that I'm able to pivot. Those things are really, really, really important. Control can limit leadership. And I just think that it's so important to understand the art of letting go. So picking up what you need to at this point in life, putting down the things that no longer serve you, all in the journey to become whoever it is that you need to become. You are not a tree. You have the ability to move your feet. You have the ability to change your mind. You have the ability to wake up every single day and figure out who it is that you need to become or want to become, and how do you do that. And a lot of times, this isn't just all happening in one day. There's an art in it. There's an art in self reflection. There's an art in figuring out, even in your life, what's no longer working, what's no longer serving you, and what do you need to do in order to change those things, and then having the courage to actually do so. I have on my hand, I am becoming. Way before Michelle Obama wrote this book, but apparently, this is a thing. And that is tattooed on my hand because something that I used to pray is for God to allow me to become whoever it is He put me on this earth to be. And I really know that He's working and delivering me from so many different things, placing things on my path as I'm continuing to be obedient. But becoming requires release. Growth requires letting go. And there's an art in doing so. My only question that I have for you leaders is, what do you need to let go of to become who you're meant to be? What is it that you need to let go of in order to get that new role? What is it that you need to let go of and pick up in order to become that senior manager, that manager of people, that director, that CFO, CRO? Who is it that you need to become? How are you leading? How are you showing up? How are you showing up for yourself? What are some things that you can change? Can you turn a podcast on in the car? This benefits everyone. You're fighting it. But again, this is for you. So who is it that you need to become? What do you need to let go of? Thank you guys so much for listening again. Um, I want to just, this is not the easiest thing, is to get on here and talk about this stuff, but these are truly my lived experiences. Anyone that knows me knows that I've been saying that there's an art in letting go for years. And I'm just so grateful that I'm able to share these things, because this is not me just like, hey, chat GPT, give me some. This is my experiences. I truly have serenity prayer tattooed down my spine that I got leaving my past life and coming here to Florida before meeting my husband, but getting out of a terrible, terrible situation. And I am becoming. Same thing, you guys. And there is truly an art. I am telling you from my heart what I truly believe. And so, how that aligns with leadership is just something that I find so beautiful, that I'm able to relate these and be able to share this with you. But I really hope that you take a moment to think about that you really take a moment to sit and Think about what are some things that you need to let go. And again, this won't happen tomorrow, but over time, what are the things that you need to shed, that you need to sit down, that you need to put away, exit from, leave behind, no longer concern yourself with? And what are the things that then you also need to pick up that gets you where you really want to be? Thank you for being here for another episode of Facts Over Fear. If this message did resonate with you, I please ask that you share it, that you follow, subscribe, right? You can find me on LinkedIn, and you can also find me on Instagram at Whitney C.D. Williams. I really want to help others grow and accelerate their career in the same way that I have. I have a full leadership cohort opening April 7th. It is 12 weeks long, and it is getting me, helping you, new and emerging leaders to accelerate their career and increase their salaries. And the goal is to do that within the next 12 to 18 months. There's a small investment for that, but it's worth so much more. So please, I'll put the link in the description so that you can apply. I also have a free webinar coming up, which is going to be March 24th at 7:30 p.m. It'll be free on Zoom. And yeah, follow me on everything. Subscribe, and ask any questions in the down below in the comments. I'm happy to answer them if I can. But thanks again. I'll see you next Thursday.